Hedge and welcome, Tube Dwellers. The Mad Bag here with another Mad Bag Gamer production today. I'm bringing you something quite special, a little StarCraft 2, a 1 versus 1 specifically. So here I am playing Protoss. You'll notice from the screen just before this that I did race pick Protoss. I have 2 StarCraft accounts and I only race pick on one of them. The other one I actually random. I feel strongest with Protoss, mainly because I got him a lot in the beta when I was playing random, and so I just kind of, you know, stuck with him. Race picked him a couple times in beta. I'm ranked in Diamond right now, as of Season 5, with my race picking account, this one. And I haven't played many games. This is actually my 3rd game as of the start of Season 5, and I won the first one, the placement match that put me back into Diamond, and then I lost one, and then here's this one. Something else to note right away, this is captured first person. I actually tried to commentate this first person, and I play like crap whenever I commentate. To some degree, my mind is thinking about keeping words spilling out of my mouth constantly, thinking about what kind of useful information I can divulge to you YouTubers, and it's not thinking about what my opponent could be doing, what I could be doing better to try to trounce my opponent, and just how I should play in general. It's instead on other things that it needs to not be on whenever I'm in a game of StarCraft. So I'm actually not casting this live. I played and I recorded while I was playing, but I am now watching the recording and talking over it. So unfortunately, not quite live commentary yet. I hope to eventually get there, but I'm not quite there yet. You see me fooling with my building placement a little bit right here. Again, I feel like I play pretty well. I make pretty good decisions when my scouting is on par, but I don't play very often, so I often find myself lacking the essentials that I would get from just playing a lot of games. And here, I struggle a little bit with my Forge, Fast, Expand building placement. My opponent did race pick Zerg, so, and this is a map where the natural is very easy to defend. You can see the ramp to the natural right there at the top of the screen. The natural is really easy to wall off and put a couple cannons behind, making you pretty safe from any Zerg's early pressure. I'm going to have to put emphasis on pretty safe for this game specifically. I would like to have gone Nexus first, but since my scout got in his base and saw that he had a pull down already, I decided to put the Forge out just so I could get the cannon kind of quick, and I put the cannon really high. That's actually, that cannon placement is going to come back to bite me in the butt. I did feel like after the Forge finished, I had time to get the Nexus before the cannon, because I hadn't seen any Zerglings come out yet. And there, just a second ago, you saw my probe go down to the couple Zerglings that did come out, so he's likely expanding now. And my cannon is timed pretty well. Plus my Nexus is on the way, so it's great that I was able to get that out. Even better that I was able to get my Nexus down before his hatchery was down. Here you'll see to some degree what I mean when I say struggle with building placement. That core ends up in a pretty good spot where there's only one space between it. However, that cannon does not have much range on that. Oh, so some Zerglings are gonna get in. Now that's okay, I send my probe back up there. I don't think I put him on hold position, funny enough. And I'm going to start microing my probes down here. I go to a left mineral patch so that they mineral path and walk through each other. And then I click a right mineral patch to keep them all grouped up and get them kind of around the Zerglings, then attack them. I think I lost one probe in that fight. You can tell by the explosion sound. And nothing else. And then I notice that at the top left corner of my core there, it's actually 2 blocks wide. I can't block that with the Zealot. So I instead put the Zealot down in the little bit of a hallway I have there. And now I'm going to start focusing on my economy to really make this build shine. Ideally, I would still have a probe out on the map. If you can, it's great to take the probe that I had patrolling in his natural. It's great to run him away a little bit early, but my timing wasn't quite where it should be. Again, I'm only a Diamond player, at least right now, please. Don't expect too much of me. I'm going to go ahead and get a core down because I'm kind of cheesy, I'll admit. I like fast Colossi. Colossi are way too easy to use and way too powerful to not really like Colossi builds. And here you see me trying to get a probe out on the map. I know that I need it. I know that I need to try to sneak one in, and I actually have two going out to try to be confusing, but he gets both of them. He has a probe both at the Xel'Naga watchtower and in front of my ramp. So the probe coming straight out of my base gets caught, and the probe going down around the bottom of the map there, and then across the Xel'Naga, ends up getting caught too. Not ideal. So I am not going to have a real easy way of figuring out what he's going to do. And I'm feeling rather vulnerable, so at first, I want to get an observer. That's going to crush my gas count, that's going to keep it really low, it's going to make squeezing out any more sentries really difficult, which a couple sentries are good to get early so that they're collecting energy, and sentries are probably the most full unit against early Zerg pressure. But since I feel unsafe, since I'm not able to scout, I want to get the observer and see what he's doing. I'm going to try to get vision of his base and see if he's going to be doing a push. And the Immortal, again, is because I feel unsafe. And I actually decided to cancel the Immortal to go ahead and get out the robotic support base so that I can go Colossi. And you saw me just playing it a second ago. The fast Colossi push was probably a 5, maybe a 6 gate, would be ideal. But all those plans are going into the toilet. Because my Zerg buddy here doesn't want to have anything to do with all that. He's going to do a bust to me, and because of my poor wall placement, I'm going to be in a lot of trouble. And I mean a lot of trouble. You see it playing out on the screen. He luckily gets greedy and goes real hard all the way for that expansion. Gives me just enough time to get some pylons off on my high ground and keep myself alive. And luckily, he has kind of bad focus at killing off ideal tech structures, which it's questionable whether or not that's really useful. And that might not have been worth canceling to get those probes in. That was a risk. Luckily, I got the pylon back in, kept it safe. That force field was placed horribly. It meant to trap those lings so that I could kill them and hopefully end the damage. But it was actually placed bad, and I didn't get to do any of that. Now right here, because the core's so weak, I shouldn't even be trying to hold myself out there. I should not even be trying to keep that alive. I should just sacrifice basically the whole natural and do what I did there, which is again wall myself in just to keep myself alive. And now it's really going to descend into madness. I can't really get things out quick enough to keep this alive because I can't produce off 3 gates as quickly as he can off 2 hatcheries. And I rallied my observer when I first built it from my robotics facility over to his base. Around the back of his natural, you can kind of see on my mini-map the path that it took, and it's now sitting in his base. But now, I don't need the scouting information. I know what he's doing. He's doing a Zergling Baneling all-in. Something else to keep in mind. I am alive right now. I'm not in a real good state because my natural, which I was investing heavily into, my natural went down. You see me replace my core because my core went down. I can only build Zealots and Colossi right now. Luckily, though, I can build Colossi right now. So you're going to see me prioritize one of those. I'm going to lose the gateway out there. I already lost the pylon on it, so I'm going to get another gateway down. I believe I finished +1, although I now question that. I may not. I'm pretty sure I got +1 done. So having +1 is going to make my Zealots really good against his Lings. And one possibility for still pulling this victory out occurs to me, and that is the possibility of just doing it all in with a couple Colossi. So you'll notice that I kind of have the gas for Colossi range, but since all he has is Zerglings, and since I'm going to be doing an all-in very, very soon, I decide not to even get Colossi range. They're going to have 6 range. The upgrade would take them to 9, while 9 range is amazing on Colossi. When you're fighting Zerglings, it's not all that critical. So I'm going to not even get that. I'm going to focus in a little bit of my production and in my Colossi count. And I'm going to move out immediately. Here's a couple extra Zealots going down. That +1 upgrade is going to make my Zealots amazing against his Zerglings. I supply block myself because this game has become chaotic. I would say crisis management is easily my #1 improvement point, followed very closely by minimap awareness. Those are the 2 things I think I need to improve upon the most right now. And here comes this push, pretty early. I actually plant a pylon and then tell that probe to follow my Colossi so that he'll be with my army when I need him. And I see a dire mistake from my Zerg opponent. He thinks that he's going to have no problem defending this, and he moves the spine crawlers down. So I wrongfully tried to put some force fields below Colossi. My Colossi crushed my own force fields and do nothing for me. However, he doesn't kill either one of them. I roast absolutely all of his Zerglings, and now I have 2 Colossi and a small number of forces here. If I can keep this Colossi alive, or really if I can keep a Colossi alive, I can continue to be super cost effective against his army, against his Zerglings. And here I push into his natural to capitalize on the damage. I'm going to be a little cheesy. I've got 47, 48, 49, 50 energy. We're going to go ahead and put that on his ramp. You see me almost mess that up, but just pull it out. And he rage quits. So an all-in, beaten by an all-in. Actually, I should say an all-in, forcing an all-in that then beats the all-in. So there you can see he was a high-ranked platinum. And you can see that I'm just like a rank 80 diamond. And here you can see our army tab, where he was really far ahead of me because of his all-in, and then I got up at the end. And then here you can see my income, where it dropped back down to 1 base, and where he never really picked up off of 1 base. Okay, so let's poke through this replay real fast. I just want to highlight a couple things that I could have done better. Maybe nitpick him just a touch, just a touch. Okay, so first improvement I could have made is this cannon placement. Let's speed this up before I slap that cannon down. Up here is way too far away from the entrance that I'm creating, so I'm choking this off towards the bottom. I need the cannon more central or towards the bottom even. If I could have it right down here against the wall or somewhere right in here, that would have been much better. It would have been much better to help me hold this push that comes. I think it comes right about the 6-minute mark, maybe a little after. Yeah, a good bit after, actually. Just jump a little bit again. As far as when the push comes in, what I could have done better is mainly this force field, although there's probably a lot of different things. My build, given that I'm investing so quickly, so heavily in tech, it's kind of weak as far as just having units on the ground in the early game. But specifically this force field, it's got pathable terrain in a perfect canal right around the outside of it. If I could have had that moved over 1 or moved up 1, I would have bought myself a lot more time for this little part of the attack, and I would have been able to, or at least would have been more likely able to, defend this based just on what I want in. I could put chrono boost in my gateways, these two just come in, could have potentially defended this if I would have just had that little bit of extra time that force field would have afforded. I would have likely still taken a lot of damage, but could have probably come out of it in a lot better of a situation. Again, the very end, I want to take a couple look at the army counts right as this madness happens. And then I want to note the drone counts too. So at 22, this is right before he starts droning up. He sat at 22 for this entire push. 22 is not 2 base saturation by any means. It's about 1 base saturation. So he cut early to do this all in. And I was at about 30 before the attack, and I've got about 22 after. So he made me about even with him in doing that attack. What it cost him in economy to perform the attack so early is about what it brought me back down to, all except for the natural. He totally killed my natural, and he has a natural. So let's take a look at army counts here. Right as he runs in, right before this started, some Zerglings have already died. He was ahead of me on mineral count, but had 0 gas, and I invested heavy in this technology, in 2 bits of technology that stack, have synergy together. He had a much higher worker count, but with just a touch of good micro on my Colossi, I was able to do enough damage to him to plow through it. And then I was able to start bringing the Zealots in somewhat close. One more thing I want to back up one more time to show. This move down of the spine crawlers was a huge mistake. He has no reason to want to defend down here. This is more open territory, which is good for Zerg to get the surround. However, if he would move this Overlord in, or even if he wouldn't, he probably knows that I'm going to go for an all-in. My base got denied. I feel like he's ahead of me. I'm going to come pushing with everything I got. He should have just stayed right up here on the high ground and tried to abuse it. Kept his lings back here, maybe even moved the spine crawlers back so that some of my attacks are being soaked on his buildings. Alright, I think that does it for the review. You guys know what comes after this. Tell me what you guys think about this. Tell me if you don't like me doing the cast after the fact. Tell me if you'd rather just see me do the live cast and play bad no matter. Tell me if you like StarCraft 2 content at all. And tell me if you like the Protoss, if you're cool with it, or if you'd rather see mostly random play, which is kind of what I plan on doing. Thanks for watching. See you later.